Evening, cousin. I've been neglecting 1911 for a while, so time to get back to it. If you're around after this one, maybe we'll do 1893 opening day in that other project. But anyhow, enjoy the 1911. Good to see you. Hey, Aaron Reed, good to see you. All right, we're going to let Ernie Harwell take over here.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Ernie Harwell, bringing you New York Giants baseball. This is a national pastime on APBA, the voice of baseball in your home since 1951. We're coming to you from out here at the park where the Giants will host the visiting Cincinnati Reds. Overall, they now stand at 1-0. This is the second of a 3-game set. The Giants won the first. The Giants take the field here in the first. Here's how it lines up defensively for the Giants. Merkel at first base. Doyle at second. Bridwell the shortstop. Fletcher at third. The trio in the outfield. In left is Murray. In center, Snodgrass. And over in right, DeVore. Myers is behind the plate and on the mound for the Giants. The left-hander, Marquard. He will be facing Reds starter, right-hander Suggs. So settle in. We're ready to start this game. Bescher will lead it off. Bob can be dangerous. This is his second game. So far this season, nothing in 4 trips. He's walked once. Bescher in the box. Myers crouched down now. Marquard brings it. Swung on, hit in the air to right. DeVore drifts over, and he's got it. 1 away. Bates coming up. The Reds can count on him. This is his second game. So far at the plate, 0 for 4. It's hard to keep Bates off the base pass. Marquard prepares to come home. He delivers. Just over the knees, the plate up, thumbs him out, 2 away. Mitchell to face Marquard. Capable of some fine hitting to date. 1 for 4. Now Marquard ready. Now Marquard comes home with it. High pop fly. This one will bring rain. Fletcher and Myers converge near the line. Myers is calling off Fletcher, and they collide. And he drops it. That's a fair ball. Myers takes the E, and Mitchell is on at first. Well, Abretzel will bat next for Cincinnati. 2 gone. Mitchell down at first. The Reds can count on him on the season. 1 for 4. Marquard gets set to pitch. First baseman Merkel ready for a throw from Marquard. And now the pitch. Swung on. Strike. There goes Mitchell. Great jump. Myers gets rid of it quickly. The slide. Mitchell has this base wrapped up. He's safe at second. That's his first steal of the season. Abretzel stands in again. Left-hander Marquard ready. Mitchell moves another step away from second. Here's a pitch from Marquardt. It's a moonshot. Right field. DeVore. It's over. He's got lots of room. Waits. And brings it in. That'll do it for Cincinnati. No runs on no hits. The Giants made an error. One left. A chance goes by the board. Reds, nothing. Giants coming up. For the Reds, their record now, 0-1 on the league leaderboards. Let's see. They're fourth in batting at 219. Fourth in homers with no. The Reds take the field here in the first. Here's how it lines up defensively for the Reds. Habretzel at first base. Egan at second. Downey, the shortstop. Grant at third. The trio in the outfield. In left is Bescher. In center, Mitchell. And over in right, Bates. McLean is behind the plate. And today, the Giants will try to solve Suggs, the right-hander. To get it going, Fletcher. Fletcher, good at the plate. Art steps up. Suggs prepared to work. The pitch. Swung on, line towards second. Egan back. It's out of reach. Fletcher will hold it first. And that's his first hit this season. For New York, Fletcher down at first. No one out. Snodgrass up to hit. He gets his share of hits so far at the plate. 2 for 5. Fletcher is jockeying for a big lead off first. Suggs prepares to come home. Fletcher going with a pitch. It's a bullet to Downey. He spears it. Over to first. Double play. Doyle is now up. Larry can pound the ball on the year. 1 for 4. Larry ready. McLean crouched down now. The offering. Swung on, and it's chopped down the first baseline. Habretzel takes the high hop. He flips the Suggs covering, and they get him. For the Giants, no runs on one hit. There were no errors, so they do not score. Cincinnati due up. The Reds will have Downey, McLean, and Egan here in the second. Downey will start the second. You don't want to pitch carelessly to Tom. To date, batting 2 for 4. Marquardt prepared to work. The pitch. Fastball, badly fooled. Strike 3. 1 away. McLean will bat next for Cincinnati. A right-sider. 1 down. He has the talent to do some damage. To date, batting 1 for 4. McLean relaxes himself at the plate. Myers ready to receive. Marquardt brings it home. There's call third strike right down the pike. 2 away. Here comes Egan to take his cuts. Egan, a fair hitter to date. 1 for 4. Egan takes his stance. Left-hander Marquardt ready. Marquardt winds and fires. He swings, but he held up. Nope, he went too far. Dick is down on strike. Side retired. Marquardt sets them down in order. No score as we go to the bottom of the second inning. The Giants will have Myers, Merkel, and Murray here in the second. Myers will get it started for the Giants. Chief with an enviable track record as a hitter. To date, batting 2 for 3. The hitter stands in. Suggs looking in. Here's the delivery. Fastball. It's a number to the left of the mound. Downey charges. Picks up the ball barehanded and bounces it in the dirt. Safe. Abretzel can't dig it out. That should be an error on Downey. And it is E6. Merkel is the next hitter. Merkel, recently known as a solid hitter on the season. 1 for 4. 1 homer. 2 ribbies. Batter ready. Suggs comes set. The pitch. Grounded deep into the hole. Egan dives. He cuts it off. He's on his feet. Swings it to first. And they get him by a hair. 1 down. Myers moves into scoring position. We have right-handed Murray to bat for the Giants. The Giants have 1 down. Myers down at second. You can count on Red. This is his second game to date at bat. 0 for 3. He's walked once. Myers at second has the speed. Suggs on the rubber. Righty against righty. Suggs gets set to pitch. Suggs looks back at Myers on second. Quick move to the plate. Popped high to the left side. Grant drifts back. Back! He stabs for it and makes the catch. And that's the second out. And Myers holds at second. 2 gone. Second inning. 1 on. Here's DeVore. He gets his share of hits on the year. 2 hits in 4 trips. He has stolen 2 bases and been caught not at all. Deft-footed Myers at second. DeVore in the box. McLean set. Speedy Myers edging toward third. Now Suggs comes home with it. Check swing. He held up and he walks. Setting up the force. That was DeVore's first walk of the season. Bridwell steps up to face Suggs. 2 on, first and second. 2 outs. Capable of some fine hitting. To date at bat, 2 for 3. He's walked once. Suggs sets up on the rubber again. Suggs prepared to work. The runners take their lead. Quick move to the plate. Inside. Ball 1. Bridwell back in the box. Suggs put on the rubber. Checks Myers at second. The runners take their lead. Suggs cranks it up. Bridwell hits a frozen rope. Straightaway center. Right there is Mitchell. And he gloves it for the putout. 3 down. The line for the Giants. No runs, no hits, 1 error. They leave 2. They couldn't get the runners home. Cincinnati due up. For Cincinnati. Here in the third. Grant, Suggs, and Bescher. All right. Here's Grant to lead it off. Batting left. Grant not strong at the plate. This is his second game on the season. 0 for 2. Grant relaxes himself at the plate. Myers ready to receive. And now the pitch. Grant squibs it to the left side. Fletcher charges it, picks it up barehanded and guns it to first. But Grant beats the throw. Base hit, and that's the first base knock for the Reds in this game. And that's his first hit this season. Suggs walking up to bat. George taking his first at bat of the season. Super speed down at first. Marquard looking in. First baseman Merkel ready for a throw from Marquard. Infield back at double play depth. The delivery from Marquard. Swung on. Grounded hard to short off his chest. He picks it up. Throws quickly to first. 1 away. Grant moves up. Okay for Cincinnati. One away. Grant standing out at second. Bescher will bat next for Cincinnati against Marquardt. He'll bat right. He's their leadoff hitter. The batter stands in. Marquardt sets up on the rubber again. Myers crouched down now. Marquardt looks back at Grant on second. Quick move to the plate. Slow chopper toward Bridwell. He charges it. Surrounds it. Juggles it. He'll go to first. And that's the second out. And Grant moves to third. 2 outs. Third inning. 1 on. Next up, Bates. Bates waits. Marquardt prepares to come home. Speeded Grant edging down the line. The pitch to Bates. Ball 4, and Marquardt dishes a free pass. And there are runners at the corner. That was Bates' first walk of the season. 2 on, the top of the third inning. Mitchell steps up to face Marquardt. An RBI opportunity for Mike. In the box now. Marquardt climbs the mound. Left-hander Marquardt ready. Body rigid. Grant at third with his arms out, crouched. The pitch. Mitchell jacks one to deep left. Murray retreats. Short of the track. This should do it. And he takes it in. The half for the Reds. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 2. A good chance goes by the board. Still no score. Giants coming up. Marquardt, Fletcher, and Snodgrass to bat next. Marquardt leading it off. Rube taking his first at bat of the season. Marquardt gets in there. Right-handed Suggs goes to the set position. The pitch. There's a bouncer to the left side, right where Downey is stationed. He takes his time with a peg and puts Marquardt away easily. 1 away. Fletcher is up next. Art has a good eye. Art waits. Right-hander Suggs ready. The delivery from Suggs. Swung on toward the gap. Bates races back. He stabs for it and makes the catch in the webbing. 2 gone. Snodgrass to face Suggs. The batter stands in. McLean set. The pitch. Upstairs with a fast one. Snodgrass doesn't offer, and that's ball number 4. And Fred will get down to first. That was Snodgrass' first walk of the season. 2 down, third inning, 1 on. It's now the port side swinger, Doyle, to the bat. Doyle ready. Suggs is ready to fire it in. He cranks and fires. Strike 3. Doyle swung right through it. Side retired. That'll do it for New York. No runs on no hits. 1 left. So it's still zip-zip after 3. Abretzel, Downey, and McLean due up for Cincinnati. Abretzel leading off the 4th. Marquardt looking home. The pitch. Abretzel goes the opposite way, down the line to right. Fair ball. DeVore is racing for it. Into the corner. Abretzel is around second. He's going for third. Doyle's relay. Not in time. Safe at third. Triple from Abretzel. For Abretzel, his first triple of the season. Abretzel on at third. We have Downey coming up to hit. He hits from the right. Batter set. Marquardt climbs the mound, positions the ball behind his back. Giants playing for the out at first. Marquardt glances over his shoulder at third. Marquardt comes to the plate, bounce to short. Bridwell feels it. He refuses the play at the plate. The throw to first. And he's gone. But the run scores. And the Reds break the tie and now lead 1-0. Fourth inning. That's Downey's first run batted in of the season. McLean is up next. Marquardt ready. Marquardt comes to the plate. Bloop to second. Just out of reach. McLean rounds first and holds. He's on with a single. It's now Egan, the bat for Cincinnati. One down, runner on first. McLean won't wander far from first. Marquardt looking in. He lets it go. Grounded weakly to Bridwell. He charges. He's up with it. Looks at second. Pumps. He'll go to first for the second out. And McLean hugs second. Grant walks up for Cincinnati. Two down. McLean standing out at second. Grant settles himself in the box. Marquardt focuses in on the target. Marquardt cranks it up. It's popped up in the air to the left side. Bridwell racing over into foul territory. He waves off Fletcher and makes the catch. And that's out number 3. The half for the Reds. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. They leave 1. And they capture the lead after 3.5. 1-0 Reds. Myers, Merkel, and Murray due up for New York. Myers to lead it off for the Giants. Right-hander. Suggs ready. Now the pitch. Popped up, shallow center field. Mitchell is coming on. And he's got it. 1 down. One away. Base is empty. Merkel advancing to the bat. Batter set. Suggs looking in. The pitch. A healthy cut by Merkel, but he sends it straight up. McLean flings his mask aside. He's in fair ground, and the ball hits off his mitt. It rolls away, but Suggs is there, and Merkel is on at first. That play was tougher than it looked. McLean takes the E. 2 errors now for Cincinnati. Murray comes up to bat. Murray now ready. Suggs is ready to fire it in. And Merkel takes off. It's a pitch out. Murray with a desperation swing, and he makes contact. It's a bleeder to the right side, and it's through. Egan ran over to cover second and let the ball get through. Speedy Merkel drives into third, and Murray is on with a controlled single. A textbook hit and run. And that's his first hit this season. 1 away. Runners at first and third toward New York. Here's DeVore to hit for the Giants. Batting left. Does not strike out often. The batter stands in. Suggs sets up on the rubber again. Righty against lefty. Checks the runners. Infield back at double play depth. Speeded Merkel edging down the line. The pitch. Swung on. Bouncer to Egan. Goes to second for 1. Back to first for 2. Oh, double play. And they get out of the inning. That'll do it for New York. Nothing across. 1 miscue for the Reds. They had a chance but could not convert. The score still 1-0. Giants trail. Suggs, Bescher, and Bates due up for Cincinnati. Here's Suggs to start it off. He stands in. Marquardt prepared to work. Marquardt now. Hit in the air to center. Snodgrass takes 3 steps to his right, taps the glove. He has it. 1 down. Bescher walking up the bat. Not a lot of power. Batter set. Left-hander Marquardt ready. The pitch comes in. And it's chopped down the first baseline. Merkel covers it and touches the bag. 2 away. Now at bat, Bates. Bates has a walk and 2 trips. Marquardt prepares to come home. Marquardt over the offering. Right down the middle. Side retired. So the Reds go in order. We've played 4.5. Giants down 1-0, and they'll try to get it back coming up. Bridwell, Marquardt, and Fletcher due up for New York. Here's Bridwell to lead it off. He's a lefty. Suggs will go to work on him. The pitch. Lofted deep to left field. Bescher is chasing it. He's at the warning track. And he hauls it in. 1 away. Here comes Marquardt to take his cuts. McLean sets up. The pitch is on the way. Wrapped back to the mound, and he spears it. Over to first, and Marquardt is retired. Fletcher coming up. Art has a hit in 2 trips. Art can do some damage. Batter waits. Suggs poised. The pitch. Can't find the strike zone. That's ball 4. And Fletcher coaxes a walk. That was Fletcher's first walk of the season. Okay, for New York. 2 away. Runner on first. Now Snodgrass to face Suggs. Bats right. Fred walked and made out once. Suggs gets set to pitch. The pitch. Snodgrass hangs out a frozen rope. Left field. Bescher charges in for it, but he'll have to short hop it. Fletcher is around second, but the third base coach is on the job. They're holding Fletcher at second as the throw comes in, and Fred is on with a single. Well, Doyle the hit. 2 gone. Fletcher at second. Snodgrass at first for New York. Down by 1. Suggs cannot afford to make a mistake to Doyle. Suggs is on the slab. Eyes narrow as he peers in for the sign. Righty against lefty. Checks the runners. The runners take their lead. And the pitch comes in on the ground to deep short. Downey can't get there. It's through for a base hit. Bescher running in. Still coming. Fletcher is well around third. Snodgrass is rounding second. They're waving Fletcher in. Here comes the throw home. Snodgrass is going for third on the throw. And Doyle is headed for second. Here's a play at the plate, and he's in standing. Tie game. And there's a play at second. The throw, and he's safe ahead of the throw. The go-ahead run is now on third. So Doyle with a Ribby single, and the Giants have tied this game. That's Doyle's first run batted in of the season. Runners at second and third. 2 gone. The bottom of the 5th inning. Myers, the hit for the Giants. Bats right. Chief has some pop in his bat. Chief has 1 RBI on the season. Suggs on the rubber. Suggs comes set. The runners take their lead. The pitch. It's lined hard to left center. Mitchell is racing back. It's in there for a hit. Mitchell cuts it off in the gap. Snodgrass scores. Giants lead. Doyle is well around third. They're waving Doyle in. Here comes a throw home. Myers is going for second. Here's a play at the plate. Sanese in standing. And the play goes to second. Sanese in easily. So the single drives in two, and the Giants break the tie and now lead 3-1. Fifth inning. Okay, Merkel now walks out the bat. 2 gone, 3 runs in. A dangerous hitter. The hitter stands in. Suggs gets set to work on him. Myers extending his lead. And the pitch comes in. Ground ball to first. Abretzel covers it and touches the bag. And that's out number 3. That'll do it for New York. 3 runs on 3 hits. 1 left. They have taken the lead in this game after 5. 3-1 Giants. The Reds now send up the heart of their order to face Marquardt, the 3-4-5 hitters. Mitchell, Abretzel, and Downey. Mitchell, the leading off. Left-handed Marquardt goes to the set position. He brings it in. A blast to right. That could be trouble. DeVore is chasing it. He's at the track against the wall. He makes a catch. 1 down. Now coming up, Abretzel. Abretzel knows how to get on base. Batter waits. Myers ready to receive. Now Marquardt pitches. Bloop to second. Just out of reach. Abretzel rounds first and holds. He's on with a single. Second safety for Abretzel. 1 out, 6th inning, 1 on. Next to bat for Cincinnati is Downey. Downey 0 for 2. Has a ribby. Downey stands in. Myers crouched down now. First baseman Merkel perched right in front of the bag. He squares. The delivery. Downey pushes it down the first baseline. Nicely done. The only play is at first. Downey sacrifices. Abretzel moves down to second. Abretzel on second, 2 away. Here's the right-handed McLean to take his swings. McLean 1 for 2. Marquardt will go to work on him. Abretzel moves quietly toward third. The pitch. Swung on. Base hit. Down the line to right. DeVore gallops for it. He has it. Abretzel is around third. They're waving Abretzel in. Here comes a throw home. Here's a play at the plate. Sanese in standing. McLean holds it first for the single. So McLean with a ribby single, and the Reds are sneaking up on the Giants. They are within 1. Score now 3-2, and these fans just inched forward in their seats. That's McLean's first run batted in of the season. 1 on, the top of the 6th inning. It's now Egan to bat. Dick 0 for 2. Marquardt is ready to fire it in. The offering. Egan lifts a lazy pop fly. Fletcher drifts back into left and brings it down. For the Reds, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. They lead 1. They score, but still trail by 1. Giants up 3-2. The Giants will have Murray, DeVore, and Bridwell here in the 6th. To get it going, Murray. Red can hit for power. Batter ready. Suggs prepares to come home. The pitch. Bounce to short. Downey to his right. He has it. And he throws him out. One down. DeVore, the hit. DeVore, decent bat control. New York started. Marquardt pitching well, but the Giants would feel better with another run. Suggs gets set to work on him. Suggs kicks and deals. Swung on, poked to right. Base hit. Bates gets in front of it. Fields it cleanly. DeVore rounds first and holds. He's on with a single. Next batter, Bridwell. Not a long ball threat. DeVore is jockeying for a big lead off first. Al steps up. Right-handed Suggs goes to the set position. They start the runner. Swing and a miss. McLean fires to second. And they've got DeVore in a rundown. And Downey runs him down. He flips to Abretzel. And they get him. Nice play. For out number 2. So Bridwell steps back in. Suggs gets set to pitch. Now the pitch. Slow ground ball right side. He could beat this out. The quick snap from Egan, and Bridwell is out at first for the final out. For the Giants, no runs, 1 hit. So the Giants maintain their thin lead. The score still 3-2. Giants leading. The Reds will have Grant, Suggs, and Bescher here in the 7th. Well, Grant to lead it off for the Reds. Grant stands in. Myers ready to receive. Reds, skipper Schendel walking down the bench. Trying to make it happen. And they're yanking Grant. Schendel calls on Almeida to face the southpaw Marquardt. He grabs a bat, heads out. Almeida walking up the bat. A very steady hitter. Almeida steps in. Left-handed Marquardt goes to the set position. Marquardt comes to the plate. Swung on, hit to Murray in deep left. He's back. Plenty of room. Takes a couple of steps to his left and brings it in. 1 away. One gone. 7th inning. Suggs the hit. Suggs settles himself in the box. Marquardt looking in. The pitch. A little roller to the right side. Doyle pounces on it. The quick toss to Merkel, and he nails Suggs by a step. For out number 2. Bescher getting ready to go. Bescher 0 for 3. Myers ready to receive. The pitch comes in. Swung on. Hot smash to Doyle. Just out of reach. And Bescher is aboard with a single. And that's his first hit this season. 2 outs. 7th inning. 1 on. Here's Bates. Bates 0 for 2 with a walk. Bates is struck out twice. Catcher Myers sets his target. Marquardt delivers. Low and away. Bescher is off to the races. Great jump. Here's a peg from Myers. The sweep tag. Too late. Bescher dusts himself off at second. That's his first steal of the season. And that's the Reds' second stolen base in this game. The tying run is now at second base. Batter in the box. Leans in. Marquardt on the rubber. Sets his grip with the ball out of sight. Marquardt prepares to come home. Marquardt looks back at Bescher on second. Marquardt comes to the plate. Rip and a miss by Bates. And that's a strikeout. Reds gone. Bates is now struck out 3 times. The line for the Reds. No runs, 1 hit. They leave 1. They had a chance but could not convert. The score still 3-2. Giants leading. Okay, folks, on your feet. Take a break for the 7th inning stretch. The Giants will have Marquard, Fletcher, and Snodgrass here in the 7th. For those of you keeping score at home, Almeida will stay in the game. He'll be playing 3rd for Cincinnati. Pitcher Marquard to lead it off. Marquard now ready. Suggs prepares to come home. Here's the pitch. It's skied. Downey is backing up, waves off Almeida, and takes it in. 1 away. All right. Fletcher now walks out to bat for New York. Base is clear. 1 out. Fletcher, recently known as a solid hitter. Fletcher waiting. Suggs looking in at the target. The delivery from Suggs. He pops it up right side. Abretzel is backing up. He's under it and makes the catch. 2 down. All right, Snodgrass will bat next for New York. Nobody on. 2 outs. Snodgrass has a hit and a walk in 3 trips, and he scored a run. Suggs poised. The pitch. Off-speed pitch. Misses. Snodgrass draws a walk. Doyle is up next. Doyle has been up 3 times with 1 hit. He's driven in a run, and he scored a run. Doyle gets in there. Suggs will go to work on him. The pitch. Fly ball. Long ball. Mitchell posts himself under it. This should do it. He's got it. 3 down. The half for the Giants. 0-0-0. They leave 1. Holding a slight edge. Giants still leading by 1. New York will now face the heart of the Reds lineup. Mitchell, Abretzel, and Downey coming up. To get it going for the Reds here, Mitchell. Mitchell 0 for 3. He's stolen the base. Mitchell is a threat for the extra base hit. Marquard toes the rubber. Abretzel is loose and ready to follow Mitchell. The pitch is on the way. Cut on, whack to center field. Base hit. Snodgrass is there, throws it in, and Mitchell is aboard with a single. The tying run is on. No one out. 8th inning, 1 on. Abretzel now walks out to bat. Abretzel has 2 hits and 3 trips, and he scored 2 runs. He's not much of a risk to bunt. Mitchell stretches his lead. Marquard is on the slab. Marquard looking in. First baseman Merkel is on the bag. Mitchell with a substantial lead. Mitchell is on the move. Swing and a miss. Myers fires to second. And they've got Mitchell in a rundown. And Bridwell runs him down. He flips to Merkel. And they get him. Nice play. That's 1. Abretzel ready to take on Marquard again. Marquard sets up on the rubber again. Downey waves a weighted bat on deck. The offering. Hit to straightaway center field. It's playable. Snodgrass moves under it and takes it in. That's 2. Downey walks up. He bats right. 2 away. Tom was not a slugger in this game. He's 0 for 2, and he gave himself up once as a ribby. Left-hander Marquard ready. Here he comes. Yanked toward short. Bridwell dives. And it's through. Single for Downey. The tying run is on. Here's the situation. Here's McLean. 2 away. Downey down at first for Cincinnati. McLean is 2 for 3. Driven in 1. Not a home run threat. Marquard set. Marquard over the offering. Swung on and missed. That's a Linda Ronstadt. And McLean is gone. 3 down. The half for the Reds. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. They leave 1. Giants over the Reds. 3-2. And they'll try to add to that lead coming up. Well, folks, the clouds have moved in quickly here in New York. Here comes the rain. The umpire is calling time. And they're calling them in.
Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. Since me and that good gal of mine ain't together, it keep raining all the time. I hope it don't rain now. Let's play ball.
And they're finally rolling back the tarp. We'll see if these pitches are still fresh. Let's play some baseball. For New York, here in the 8, Myers, Merkel, and Murray. Myers will get it started for the Giants. Chief, 1 for 3. He's driven in 2. McLean crouched down now. Suggs delivers. High pop fly. This one will bring rain. Almeida and McLean converge near the line. McLean is calling off Almeida, and he has it for the out in fair territory. And there's 1 away. One gone. 8th inning. Merkel walks up. Merkel is a threat for the extra base hit. Fred is hitless in 3 at-bats. Merkel waiting for Suggs. Suggs staring in, ready to work. The offering popped high to the right side. Egan drifts back. He's calling for it. He reaches up and brings it down for out number 2. 2 down, 8th inning. Next up, Murray. Murray, 1 for 3. The hitter stands in. Suggs poised. Here comes the pitch. Lined hard to left. Bescher had him played perfectly, and he gloves it. He scarcely had to move. Side retired. So the Giants go down 1-2-3 after 8. Giants up by 1. The Reds will send out the bottom of the lineup. Egan, Almeida, and Suggs. Egan will start it off here in the 9th, right-hander. Not known for long-distance hitting. Egan, 0 for 3. Marquard bends for the Rosenbag. Egan in the batter's box. Adjusts his shoulders. Dick has a look of determination on his face. Waits for the pitch. Marquard toes the rubber. And the pitch comes in. High fly, left center. Snodgrass is on his horse. He'll get there, and does. 1 away. The Reds with only 2 outs left Almeida is stepping up to hit against Marquardt. He's a right-handed batter. Almeida is 0 for 1. Almeida, recently known as a solid hitter. Almeida stands in, leans in. Marquardt sets up on the rubber again. Shakes off the sign. Now Myers is running out to the mound. They're talking it over. And now Myers is trotting back. Here we go. Myers set. Marquardt to the wind. Hit to straightaway center field. Plenty of room. Snodgrass moves under it and takes it in. 2 down. Suggs is scheduled to hit. We'll have to wait to see if he bats for himself. Marquardt put on the rubber. Marquardt prepares to come home. Reds, skipper Schindel walking down the bench. You can mark pitcher Suggs out for the Reds. Schindel not letting him bat. Severide will now hit for him. Bats right. He wheels out with a wagon spoke. Heads out. So Suggs gets his innings. He pitched 8. The line on him. 3 runs on 6 hits. He stands to lose it unless the Reds can make up the 1-run deficit. Severide walking up the bat. Hank can hit. So far, 1 for 1. They want to see him get on. Severide has let a few out of the yard. Severide takes his place in the box. Quick look at the ump. Again focused on Marquardt. Leans in. Marquardt sets up on the rubber again. Rotates the ball slowly, almost imperceptibly, in his hand. And a pitch. Severide looks at strike 3, and that does it. The Giants have won it, spurred on by the disciplined leadership of Schindel. The excitement is complete. The Giants won a squeaker 3-2. Here's the line for the Giants. 3 runs on 6 hits, 1 error. They leave 6 for the Reds. 2 runs on 8 hits. They committed 2 errors, and they leave 7. Marquardt gets his first win. His record now 1-0. Suggs takes his first loss. His record now 0-1. So the Giants gain a step in this 3-game series. They now stand at 2-0 for the Giants. Overall, they now stand at 2-0. They now have first place to themselves for the Reds. Overall, 0-2. In the next game, they'll go after the Reds again. That puts the wraps on this one. Ernie Harwell and APBA leaving you from New York. Final score? New York Giants 3, Cincinnati Reds 2.
All right, baseball fans. Well, the Giants made it it was a good game, 3-2. I mean, the Reds made a good game, 3-2. So just a couple of things here. First, congratulations. It's about fucking time. Dave Parker and Dick Allen in the Hall of Fame, class of 2025. Holy shit. Couldn't believe. Got the news about Dave Parker first, obviously being a Pirates fan, but then saw the Dick Allen is in. It's too bad Dick Allen, may his memory be eternal, didn't live to see it. I know Dave Parker's health is in decline, but he will get to see it, so his induction. But congratulations to 2 more baseball greats that it just took too long to put them in, both Dave Parker and Dick Allen. All right, so earlier in the stream, Cousin was talking about Rafael Almeida. So for the 5 of you remaining, we're gonna read a little bit about Rafael Almeida. All right, it's an important story. All credit. This is an article from the Society for American Baseball Research, SABR. And if you're not a member, why aren't you a member? Man, oh man, come on! It's $7.99 a month, and what you have is just incredible stuff. I'm gonna bring this over so that we can. So this was written by Zachary Moser. All right, here we go. Wish we had had him. He's not colored. Those were the words that Frank Bancroft, the Cincinnati Reds business manager, wrote to team president and National Commission chairman Gary Herman in 1911 about Rafael Almeida. The Reds were in the midst of acquiring Almeida and fellow Cuban player Armando Marsans, and as the two Cubans to play Major League Baseball, their signings marked a significant milestone in terms of who could participate in white organized baseball at its top level. However, as evidenced in Bancroft's letter, Almeida's presence in the Reds roused the suspicions of the league's white supremacist gatekeepers, and questions of his perceived skin color and racial background dominated much of his short playing career in the National League. Almeida and Marsans traveled similar paths to the Reds. Born in Havana on July 30th, 1887, Almeida was the child of a wealthy Cuban family, a background that would form the crux of many later battles over his racial quote-unquote fitness for white professional leagues in the United States. Wealth and whiteness were linked closely in 19th century Cuba, and Almeida's family benefited from a racial hierarchy in society and politics that privileged whiteness. Racial knowledge in Cuba differed greatly from that of the United States, a nation simultaneously recovering from an aborted Reconstruction project, indulging its imperialist impulses, including that which compelled the United States to fight for possession of Cuba, and welcoming thousands of immigrants from some European countries while shutting out completely nations with populations comprising people of color. Sounds familiar with what's coming up. Anyhow, my channel, I can make those editorial remarks. Almeida's career in both Cuba and the United States occurred in and engaged with all of these historical trends. At the age of 16, Almeida made his professional debut for a local Havana club, and he spent the next 8 years plying his infield craft in a variety of Cuban League teams and in winter series with a mix of Black American players and Cubans. Many of the teams for which Almeida played in Cuba fielded players who would go on to become Negro Leaguers and Major Leaguers, including Marsans, Alcabrera, and the legendary José Méndez. Almeida likewise gained experience playing with and against players from the United States in occasional series against Negro League and Major League teams, and also from playing with a handful of Americans, black and white, who had come to Cuba during the United States occupation from 1906 to 1909. Merry Christmas to you, Philip. Almeida's Almendares club won the championship in 1905 behind his strong play and that of Marsans, and it would be the only Cuban team of three traditional teams in the circuit, Almendares, Fe, and Habana, to largely field only Cuban players for the next several years. Fe and Habana saw an influx of American players in 1907, with Habana featuring talent from the white major leagues and Fe boasting Rube Foster and other black baseball greats. Historian Roberto González Echevarria notes the nationalist underpinnings of the Almendares Fe contest that decided the champion that season. Almendares were the Cuban darlings, and the Fe club garnered the unsubtle nickname Intervencionistas. Almeida's first experience playing with American players came in competition against them and not as a teammate. While he was not a prolific hitter, his overall solid performance for the storied Almendares club earned Almeida recognition from touring players and managers from the United States. When Negro League and Major League clubs sojourned in Cuba, Almeida faced them, and Almeida, Marsans, and Méndez often beat them. Almendares steeled themselves against the American incursions. They fielded almost exclusively Cuban players, defeated American teams, and impressed both their fans and their opponents with their play. The third baseman, Almeida, started in these contests, impressively enough in the eyes of some American gatekeepers to garner his first taste of baseball in the United States. That came in 1908, the product of a peculiar struggle over the talents of Almeida and Marsans. The previous season, minor league clubs from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and New Britain, Connecticut, both placed claims on the two players. Gary Herman, as chairman of the National Commission ruled in favor of Scranton, but Almeida and Marsans chose not to report to the team. They signed with New Britain. That season in New Britain, Almeida was the 11th ranked hitter, but Adrian Burgos recounts some of the violence, physical and psychological, that the Cubans on the New Britain roster had to endure en route to that successful mark. Opposing pitchers aimed to hurt the players at bat, and fans rained boos and taunts upon them. Such abuse anticipated the treatment faced by Jackie Robinson and the host of integration pioneers after him. Almeida, for his part, played well. In 326 at-bats over 86 games, the infielder scored 95 hits, good for a .291 average, and slugged 5 home runs while playing steady defense. His very participation was in jeopardy for the 1909 season, however, as the league convened to decide whether it would draw the color line more starkly. The Connecticut League had actually been somewhat of a haven for black players since the 1880s and had at one point hosted an all-black team featuring legends Frank Grant and Sol White. Teams made up of black players had competed against white teams often in the league's history, some even fashioning themselves under the moniker Black Cubans, a common practice at the time, even though the players were Black Americans. The league eventually relinquished plans to bar black players, likely including Black Latinos, but it folded only a few years later. Almeida played for New Britain in 1909 and 1910, hitting around 300 in both seasons. The Cincinnati Reds had lost 7 of 13 games while touring Cuba in the winter of 1908, not an uncommon occurrence for major league clubs barnstorming in the Caribbean, and saw firsthand the exceptional skill of many of their opponents possessed. While there, the Reds noted certain players who might be major league material. Management settled upon a project to bring some of those players stateside, a pioneering move. But, as with the Dodgers' signing of Jackie Robinson decades later, their chief fount of inspiration was Gary Herman's pocketbook, not progressive sensibilities. Almeida and Marsans were already playing with the New Britain club when Herman made his move to bring a few Cuban players aboard. However, the two ball players made an impression during the Reds' time in Cuba while they played for the Almendares. Almeida found himself the beneficiary of that project, and he and Marsans signed with the Reds in June of 1911. In its report on the transaction, the Washington Post cited the players' good style of fielding and their good hitting season. Bancroft, the business manager of the Reds, had clearly become enamored with that style when he visited the country during barnstorming tours. Anticipating the intense suspicion regarding Almeida's racial background, Bancroft and the Reds issued a barrage of letters and press insisting on his whiteness. The Cub called the players pure Spaniards without a trace of colored blood. But the most infamous of justifications came via the pen of the Cincinnati Enquirer. The two Cubans were of, quote, a noble Spanish race with no ignoble African blood to place a blot or spot on their escutcheons. Permit me to introduce 2 of the purest bars of Castilian soap that ever floated to these shores. End of quote. Bancroft, Clark Griffith, and Herman had the power to shape the color line to their destinies. Clearly, their desires were to hem it as close to whiteness as possible. They denied the opportunity to expand organized baseball to more players of color, and their rhetoric has significant ramifications for Latinos who sought to play Major League Ball. There were others with stakes in the success of Almeida and Marsans who sought to define their progressive baseball careers in other terms. Robert Peterson, in the film Only the Ball Was White, relayed the book and the film, relayed the comments of a black newspaper upon the signings. I quote, now that the first shock is over, it would not be surprising to see a Cuban a few shades darker than Almeida and Marsans break into the professional ranks. With the admissions of Cubans of a darker hue in the 2 big leagues, it would then be easy for colored players who are citizens of this country to get into fast company, end of quote. Of course, we heard that in the Ken Burns documentary. The Reds' language denied this possibility, however. For the next 3 decades, Cubans and other foreign-born Latinos were whitened in the press, and Almeida's signing would only be a half measure of integration. Almeida and Marsans finally debuted on July 4th, 1911. How ironic, huh? Against the Cubs at their pre-Wrigley ballpark on the west side. One journalist noted that Almeida secured his spot in the club in August by doing what few players would attempt, getting hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to coax in a run. The reporter noted that Almeida received an awful blow that nearly put him down and out. Almeida's violent plunk was among the first of the dangerous and racially motivated hit-by-pitches players of color would face for decades. Almeida's first month with the club met some skepticism from local and national media, however. In a syndicated piece, the Boston Globe wrote in July that while, and I quote, practically uncertain that Marsans would stay with the Reds, Almeida had been injured and unable to show his full worth. By July, however, there was at least some belief that Almeida would be a key part of the Reds. Recounting a game against St. Louis at the Palace of the Fans, in the final seasons of its service as the Reds' home park, the Cincinnati Enquirer praised Almeida and Marsans, noted that they were, quote, greeted with great applause, end of quote, and reporting on Almeida's strong arm and speed, saying he threw like a shot from third base and beat out an infield hit. Jack Ryder, the Reds beat writer near the start of a 30-year career with the Enquirer, continued to relay Almeida's performance and the Reds fans' reaction to his play. In a characteristic column, Ryder wrote of Almeida's timely hitting as a great factor in the Reds' success that day, driving in the 2 winning runs. A few lines below, he captured the crowd's feelings and alluded to Almeida's purported racial makeup. Quote, Almeida was greeted with rousing cheers from the populace and responded by doffing his cap in a polite Castilian manner as he left the field. His double was one of the longest and hardest hits of the day and came just when it was most needed to give the Eds the edge on the contest, end quote. This sort of writing is emblematic of how many tied Almeida's skill to his perceived white professionalism and class background, a theme common with Latino players in the pre-Jackie Robinson era. Ryder directly linked Almeida's good performance, his favor among the Cincinnati faithful, and his Castilian manner, an important schema of thought for those invested in upholding the color line. When faced with the prospect of those who didn't fit the black-white binary upon which the segregated major leagues were built, it became vital for those white gatekeepers to engage in the rhetorical whitening of those players. Rafael Almeida's major league experiences are an important piece in the story of Cubans gaining entry, or failing to gain entry, to white organized baseball in the United States. The next 2 years were trying for the infielder as he bounced between Cincinnati's big league club and minor league affiliates. Almeida's batting line dropped from a good .313, .383, .769, good for an OPS 18% better than league average, to .220, .281, .390, and only 65 plate appearances. The infielder found himself relegated to the Reds' minor league club in Montreal, coincidentally the same team for whom Jackie Robinson would debut in 1945. Almeida performed well enough for the Montreal Royals to merit a larger role on the 1913 Reds, and he capitalized by hitting a slash line of .262, .324, .392. But Herman was willing to let Almeida depart the Reds for a modest sum in 1913 when he asked $1,800 from a Nashville minor league team for the infielder services. The deal was never consummated, but Almeida did return to Montreal, and there he learned to play center field. One report summed up a meeting between the erstwhile Red and his ex-teammates, including Marsans, stating that Almeida's presence made the rest of the Reds feel what a big mistake was made in letting him go so suddenly. The 5'9", 164-pound Almeida played third base most of the time he was with the Reds, with a couple of games at shortstop, 1 at second base, and 3 in center field. He had an unfortunate fielding percentage of .904. His major league career composed of 102 games spread over the 3 seasons, and he finished with a career batting mark of .270. Ultimately, It seemed that Almeida's greatest sin was that he was not Marsan's. His pioneering counterparts starred in the National League for several years, and Almeida often faced unfair comparisons to the outfielder who shined. While Marsan's would go on to be a key part in the case of the National League against the upstart Federal League, a case he lost in part due to Red managers Clark Griffith's testimony, Almeida quietly departed from the Reds and the National League to continue his career in American minor league ball and the Cuban League. Almeida donned the Almendares and Habana uniforms for many years after his major league career had stalled, always finding a spot on the field at Almendares Park. Then, a major league veteran, Almeida patrolled the outfield into the 1920s and remained active in Cuban sporting culture. He shepherded the amateur Vedado Tennis Club to several pennant victories in the mid-20s and helmed the winning Cuban National Club at the 1930 Central American Games. And his baseball oeuvre warranted the induction into the Cuban Baseball Hall of Fame in its inaugural 1939 class. Almeida's 102 games with the Reds comprised the centerpiece of his baseball career, but the infielder played a quarter of a century in Cuban and American baseball leagues, found himself located in various spots on the spectrum of the color line, and achieved a great deal on the diamond. During his life, his legacy as a pioneer often went unrecognized for reasons rooted in lingering white supremacy. A New York Times assessment of the precarious position in which Cuban major leaguers found themselves in the wake of the Cuban Revolution recounted the tales of Almeida's signing with the Reds, but removed any semblance of autonomy for Almeida. Quote, "The instigator of the immigration was Clark Griffith. A year before he established his regime in Washington, Griff was managing Cincinnati. It was from there in 1911 that he hired his first Cuban, Rafael Almeida. He was bought sight unseen, a mail order purchase," end of quote. Knowledge of the actual circumstances of Almeida's signing had clearly atrophied. He had played several seasons in the United States, and the Reds themselves had personally seen him before Herman inked him to a contract. Fortunately, Almeida's legacy has been rehabilitated over the past few decades as historical research on the participation of foreign-born Latinos, the major and minor leagues, has grown. He is now rightly recognized as the pioneer he was. Almeida died in Havana on March 18th, 1969, at the age of 80, and a decade after his home country cut ties to the country in which he was an early integration pioneer. By the time of his 1939 induction into the Cuban Baseball Hall of Fame, Almeida had become one of the legends of Cuban baseball's golden era, joining Marsan's, Mendez, Cristobal Torriente, and others in representing the nation's diverse racial democracy. Almeida was emblematic of the inductees. A participant for decades in the Cuban leagues, the American major leagues, and the American minor leagues, and representative of the nation's sizable impact on transnational baseball culture. So again, a little tribute there. Thanks to Cousin Ken bringing his name up during this game of Rafael Almeida. And again, credit goes to Saber, and the article's author is Zachary Moser. So all kinds of great stories. And you can see here a picture, right? Almeida, Marsan's. And so you can see the, right? It was that kind of, and I mean, that lingers. You know, you see there's a gentleman in the Ken Burns baseball documentary. His name is something, I think, Sterling Hernandez. Anyhow, he's Cubano, but he's white, right? And so he talks about those were privileged days and stuff like that. And you know, even today, you see that, and you know, that's still, you see that you know, the Cuba has this diverse racial makeup, for lack of a term. I like to use the term racial. We're all humans, but it does tend to be. Look at Batista, right? Who was the leader of Cuba? He was white, and then of course Fidel Castro, Raul, right? They're not black men. But you know, part of the reason for this channel's existence is to talk about these players. And Rafael Almeida is a name known to a few of us, certainly, and I hope that the 5 to 7 of you that hung around for this long, but I think very, very, very important article. I hope you found it. Interesting. And here's some pictures of some of the great Cubanos. Here's Aquino Abreu. There's Rafael Almeida, Santos Amaro. There's Sandy Amoros, right? The Dodgers. Ramon Bragana. Who else? Who are some of the? Jose Cardenal, Bert Campaneris. Look for some names here we recognize. Mike Cuellar, right? Who else do we have here? One of the greatest to ever play the game, Martin Diego. I remember Steve Tate talking about trying to card him. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I know, right? Escutcheons. You gotta love the as Ken Castro also says, Mendares, legendary baseball club, rich in history. Absolutely. Like to see something like Pocket Pennant Run, bring them in. That would be great. But anyhow, I remember Steve Tate talking about how hard it was, or just the craziness it was to card Martin Diego. If you have, well, you don't even have to have Action PC Baseball. Just look him up, Seam Heads, wherever, and you'll be pretty amazed. Just a few other guys. Here's Tony Gonzalez. Let me see who else. I'm looking for Dolph Luke. There we go. Be actually Dolph Luque in Spanish. There was a superb pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah. So a rich history. Of course, another thing that we should mention is one of the other great things that Branch Rickey did in terms of integrating baseball was he was the man who signed that Pirate right fielder named Roberto Clemente, really considered the real first breakthrough Latino star, and of course, great. There's Armando Marsans. Who else? There's Jose Mendez, we talked about. Roman Meijas. Minnie Minoso. There we go. Name that everybody should know there. Tony Oliva. Camilo Pascual. What a rich history. Tony Perez. Cookie Rojas. Jose Tardabo, no picture. Who else? Tony Taylor. How about it? Chico Ruiz. There he is. Little Luis Tiant. Right? I'm guessing this is his dad. Yeah. Another great player, Cristobal Torriente. And then finally, another one, if you're, recent baseball history, Zoilo Rosales. So, hey, Mike, how you doing? Ken Castro says the Cuban national team used to be scary good back in the day. And then the dollars and the path to Major League Baseball decimated most of that, I believe. Yeah. I mean, as much as we love this game, we have to come to terms with the fact that, and it's talked about a lot in the literature and the things that you will find in SABR and other good baseball resources, Total Baseball, things like that, in the Ken Burns baseball documentary and documentaries like Only the Ball Was White, that, I think for many of us, we took for granted that the sort of perennial, eternal, if you will, who was the greatest player. And certainly, we can say Babe Ruth, or, considering he would have been Hall of Fame as a pitcher, and certainly we know what he did as a hitter, but we had that conversation, but we didn't include, people like Armando Marsans, we didn't include Diego, we didn't include Torriente. And until Jackie Robinson in the National League in 1947 and Larry Doby in the American League in 1948, the last African-American baseball player was Fleet Walker, 1884 Toledo Blue Stockings. So to really have that conversation, I'm so grateful, and it's really cool that Mike stopped in here, Mike Garland, who we're going to be doing his integrated mod. If anybody's up for some 1893. So with the major league equivalencies now, with these sophisticated baseball simulations, we're able to see, at least in Mike's mod, 212 of these players competing. It will be interesting to see, once Josh Gibson comes into the league and Oscar Charleston, just to name two of the most dominant players that never got a chance in white organized baseball. It's going to be fun to see how they perform. But again, so thank you, cousin, for bringing that up, because I knew it was, but I wanted to do that story. Congratulations again to two great ones in the game, Dave Parker of the Pittsburgh Pirates and Dick Allen of the Philadelphia Phillies, of course, both with other teams as well, but I'm assuming Dick is going to be going in as a Philly, and Dave Parker surely will be going to the Hall of Fame as a Pittsburgh Pirate. Again, I think it's sad. I mean, Dick Allen should have been put in the Hall of Fame long ago, long ago, and it just didn't happen, and he didn't live to see it. But I'm glad he's there, and he's up there in that great diamond in the sky. And yep. So all our love and thank you for all the memories, Dick Allen, for being in the Hall of Fame. And for Dave Parker, love that T-shirt. This classic shirt that Dave Parker wore in the 1979 the We Are Family Pirates. Said, if you hear some noise, it's me and the boys are bopping. Love it. Dave Parker had, if you think about it, and Pirate fans especially, what shoes Dave Parker had to fill for the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? Because we lost Roberto Clemente on New Year's Eve, 1972. And again, the Pirates throughout their great history have always been blessed with great outfields, great infields. But that right fielder, that Roberto Clemente, well, he loomed large. He loomed so large. And Dave Parker to come in and have that kind of power and an arm arguably as strong as Roberto Clemente. Check out the All-Star Game footage, the 1979 All-Star Game, 2 outfield assists by Dave Parker. I mean, who would want to run with this guy? And he's going to hit and what have you. I'll close by saying that these two men had to wait far too long, as many have, and many didn't live to see it. Shoeless Joe Jackson, Sherry McGee, what have you. That if baseball is going to start shaking things up, start with the Baseball Hall of Fame, and get rid of this golden bat nonsense. What the hell is Rob Manfred up to? All right, so Mike says he's not going to give anything away, except that he says that we are working on a new project, not ready yet, though involves the Negro League players as well. He continues, this is an issue I have with Hall of Fame. They wait so long to get the players in there that they have passed away before induction. Well, I have 2 words. Again, not only were the steroid guys helpful, instrumental in saving baseball after the shortened 1994 season with Buck O'Neil. And the best they could do for him was put up a statue while he was alive. He as much as Bonds and Sosa and McGuire, helped to bring baseball back into the spotlight to wild popularity again. And Buck O'Neil didn't see his induction and should have been. So lots of anti-Allen talk, says Cousin Ken. He says, heard it today from this community. I'll just leave it. You heard it from this community? Really? Okay, so you don't have to tell me who it is. I will just say this, and I don't care. I don't know who it is, but even if I do, I would say it. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Let's look at Dick Allen's numbers here just for a minute. Anti-Allen talk, right? Okay, so the guy hits 351 home runs. All right. Now, Gil Hodges, who had to wait a while, a white man, had to wait a while, hit 351 home runs. Dick Allen, a career 292 batting average, 1,119 runs batted in, stole 133 bases, a lifetime slugging percentage of 534, an OPS plus of 156. So whoever out there in this community is bashing Allen, you're an idiot and you don't know baseball, and maybe, just maybe, you need to follow, I don't know, curling, badminton, whatever. The man was a 7-time All-Star Rookie of the Year, an MVP. That's right. I'm on my horse. You're damn right. I'm on my horse. Let me see. Led the majors twice in home runs, but look at this, man. Look at this season, 1966. The man hits 40 home runs, 110 runs batted in. In 1972, when he led the American League, he was playing for the White Sox at that time. 37 home runs, led the league in home runs and RBI, walks. His on-base percentage led the major leagues 420. His OPS, a major league leading 1.023, an OPS plus, a major league team or a major league leading 199. It goes on and on. These are great, great numbers. So you know what? I don't care. And you might be a friend of mine on this community, and after I'm calling you an idiot, you can tell me to fuck off. But this man deserves the Hall of Fame, and I am glad he is in. I am glad he's in. It's been too long. It's been too long. I know that some people talk about, you know, the inner circle, the pantheon. Well, you know, even among greats, you're going to have people that are great that aren't maybe those. I mean, you know, there's Babe Ruth, there's Lou Gehrig, sure, but we have other players in the Hall of Fame that deserve to be. That he died 7 December 2020. How about that? So 2 days later, on the anniversary of his falling asleep in the Lord, he's elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I guess they wanted him to be passive in his demeanor as he was getting abused in Philly. And as a hardcore Philly fan, the 60s and the city were off in many ways. You know what? They wanted him to be passive. Yeah, you know, they wanted him to be passive, which means, you know what? They wanted the black man to be passive. I mean, I'm sorry, man, but I'm going to call it straight. I'm going to call it straight. So that's the way I look at it. And you know what? Steve Carlton wasn't passive, and he's in the Hall of Fame. You know, Ty Cobb wasn't passive. He's in the Hall of Fame. Nobody's going to doubt Ty Cobb, what he did on the field. Tris Speaker, right? These two guys, well, Tris Speaker, purportedly a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Nobody ever asked his ass to be passive, and he was a great player. But yeah, you know, yeah, Philadelphia, not, yeah, and the other city, of course, that not a great track record for. And again, I hate the term race, but I'll use it for interracial, and it's the last team to, and this will, you know, I hope a lot of people recognize this, you know, last team to integrate Major League Baseball, the Boston Red Sox. So you know what? There's enough black ink on there. There's enough black ink on there. You know what? Yeah, and you know, numbers similar to Joe DiMaggio. I mean, DiMaggio. Let's look at DiMaggio here for a second. I wish I would have kept Stathead, but it's all right. Let's look at DiMaggio because we can just go back and forth. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. All right, so Joe DiMaggio plays 1936 to 1951. Okay, so what do we got here? An OPS plus of, let's make this stop here. Yeah, yep. OPS plus of 155. Dick Allen, 156. They're very similar in a lot of ways here. So the Yankee Clipper hits 6 more home runs. He hits better batting average, so at 325. But there's, you know, stole fewer bases, a higher career WAR. But let's remember who DiMaggio played for. Let me see. So 13-time All-Star, Dick Allen, a 7-time All-Star. You know, you don't get to the All-Star game, and especially back when these guys played, it wasn't just like, well, okay, we're just going to put you in there because the Phillies or the White Sox or whatever don't have anybody. So, you know, as being half Italian, am I proud? Yeah, Joe DiMaggio, first Italian in the baseball, and there's not a lot of Italian American baseball players, but there he is. You know, I mean, the first trailblazer for Italian Americans, of course, was Ed Abbaticchio in the dead ball era, but DiMaggio and Dom. You know, there's an argument for his brother Dom. Vince, maybe not as good as the other. You know, again, we have to take into account that DiMaggio did miss 3 years because of World War II. I get that, but I don't. You know, I look at the black ink here for DiMaggio, and let's see. So he led the league twice in home runs. So did Dick Allen. As far as major league leading stats, DiMaggio did it twice. Once in 1941, once in 1948. Led the majors in RBI. Yeah. So look at the black ink there, and look at the black ink here for for Dick Allen. If this thing will go back, guess it doesn't want to. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And played from 63 to 77. So obviously he didn't go off to Vietnam, and we're happy about that. He's in. And I am so glad. I mean, 1972, what a crazy year for Dick Allen. How about it? And for a second place team. So there he is. There's the man in 8.6 WAR, only topped by Wilbur Wood that year. Maybe we should do a game some night with the 1972 White Sox, although I think Ken would prefer to see Dick Allen with the Phillies. But anyhow, and then one with the 1979 Pirates. As he says, don't get me started on Boston. Yeah, I know. You know. So to whomever's in the community and you're doing some Allen bashing, you know what? Bite me. Seriously. Bite me. Yeah. And so Mike says, remember, for Joe, there were only 8 teams in the league. And for Dick Allen, 10 or 12. Yeah, another important thing because I mean, I just, it just surprises me that a few people in an otherwise well-informed sports gaming community would even question. But then again, we do have somebody here that wasn't sure whether Lou Gehrig batted lefty or not and calls himself a baseball historian. So there you go. Anyhow, what time is it? It's 11:32. So I don't know. I guess that's about it. I think I'll come back in like a minute to 2 minutes. And if anybody wants to come along, we're going to start 1893 using the integrated mod from Mike Garland and Lansdowne Street. So that'll be an out of the park baseball. I usually don't follow Ernie, but I want to get that. I want to get that thing started. Definitely want to get it started. So until then, I want to thank Mike Garland. For anybody who doesn't come back, I might be doing a Dwayne Martz here and just doing the broadcast. But I'll have the mic open if anybody wants to come on. Yep, 1893 coming up next. Yeah, Mike, would you do you want to come on, Mike, now, or how about in the out of the park game? Since we ended a baseball for Windows game, it might be a little better. It's up to you, man. Let me know. You don't want to tip your cards too much. I get it. So I'll try to. I'll just let you talk. That way, I don't ask any silly questions. Let's come back in a few minutes here. I already have Steam fired up. I just got to get out of the park going. You want to talk about it now for a couple of minutes? All right. Let me fix my screen share here, then, because I don't want to run the out of the park thing into APBA as far as the 1893, because I think this. Or as far as with the 1911, they're two separate projects, and I think that it deserves its own. But yep, I've got everything switched. I'm going to put on the headphones with Ernie Harwell. I don't have to wear headphones, which is nice because he does all the work. Woohoo! All right. So hang out, guys. Mike Garland has a little bit, an overview, if you will, of what he's going to talk about. All right. Let me just make sure I switched up my settings. And I did. All right. Let me do the invite. And let's do a copy. And Mike, my apologies. I still haven't been back on the forums yet. Just been busy. Magic, but I will. All right. While we wait for Mike to join up, I hope you guys were cool with me reading about Rafael Almeida. I think it's all part of the history of this game that we love. So I'm going to be trying to split time between 1893 and 1911 for a little while, anyhow. And we'll get Mike on here in a second, as I see he is in the green room. The reason why McGreevy, I'm holding back on McGreevy is I want to see how this mod might change what we do with McGreevy. So I have some ideas banging around in my head, but we'll worry about that later. Now, without further ado, Mike, how are you, man?
All right, mic check.
Mic check. Mike does a mic check. All right, man.
All right.
The floor is yours, brother. Go ahead.
All right. So a few days ago, someone on the Out of the Park forum sent Lansdowne and I a message and said, hey, there's this sort of legend or myth that in 1943, Bill Veeck had an idea of perhaps like purchasing the Philadelphia Phillies and signing a bunch of Negro League players to that team. Of course, that never happened, and I think it's pretty much more like myth than anything else. But that gives us a kind of interesting what if scenario to build into like a quick start for Out of the Park, where we could like take kind of a team's worth of the best Negro League players that we have in our database for 1943, put them on the Phillies, and then the user could do whatever they want. Do they want to use all of them? Do they want to just say, well, could I get the Phillies to compete if I took 3 of them, 5 of them, whatever they want to do?
That sounds really fun. And again, I know you're not tipping your whole hand to use a poker analogy, but it sounds incredible. Sounds a lot like a lot of fun. So guys, again, these people that whether they're doing Out of the Park baseball, the mod creators for just about any baseball game that we play, we owe them such a huge debt of gratitude. So how you been, man? We haven't spoken in a while.
No,
I've been off. I've been off there for
a
few days. Yeah, I've been on. So there you go. Yeah. So what do you think about these 2 new Hall of Famers?
About time.
About time. It is about time. Yeah. So wondering who's going to be coming up on, I guess, the regular ballots. I don't know when those are the voting for next year. I forget when. Oh, that's next season. It'll whatever. So curious. Who was it? Was it who finished third behind Allen and Parker? I did.
Tommy John.
How
do you win 290 games? Is that what he has? 290, 287, something like
that? I believe so. Yeah.
Well,
and has a surgery named after him. Damn it! I mean, come on, right? I don't know, man. Oh my God, it's crazy. I was so. I mean, of course, being a Pirate fan, I was so happy to see Dave Parker in there. But when I saw the news then the following day about Dick Allen, I was like, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. So 288 wins, 231 losses. But let's not forget, that the guy that they misnamed an award after, Cy Young, has the most losses in history as well as the most wins. I'm one of those people that thinks it should be renamed the Walter Johnson Award. But yeah, I mean, here's a guy who is worthy of the Hall of Fame and Still not in there. I think he'll make it at some point, but hopefully soon. He's 81 years old. Hard to think about Tommy John as being 81 years old, but there you go, right? So, all right. Well, I'm going to be coming on here again in about 2 minutes, and we're going to start 1893. So I don't know if you're going to be around or not. If you are, that'll be fun, Mike. And thank you for the little teaser about what's coming up. And I know that you've talked about some other things and other you're just constantly working this game. And I can't ask you any questions because I'm about out of the park baseball. So because I'm assuming you're going to be beta testing again this year and things like that. So I'm not going to do it this year. It was fun, but I just felt that I just can't really I can't commit. Too much going on. But it was fun. It was really, really fun to just get a little peek behind the scenes and getting patches dropped. And I'll tell you what, guys, for a lot of people, when you're like, oh, out of the park baseball, blah, blah, blah. I learned being a beta tester, man, that the patches, man, you talk about these guys on top of it. How about it, Mike? I mean, you're getting patches like crazy. New builds all the time. I mean, these guys work hard on this game. They really, really do. So it was fun. It was fun. So, Mike, thank you for the little teaser bit. And to everybody else, I'll be on it again in about 5 minutes, and we'll start 1893 and move forward in baseball history. We're not going to play every damn game, obviously, or we'll be here till we're 307. But hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Robert is continuing his 1919 thing. So old-timey baseball getting some love around YouTube. All right, Mike, thanks for coming on, and I'll see you guys in about 2 to 5 minutes.